A revolution removed the government. Now the people decide who replaces it. Greetings everyone, this is Muskan and you are watching ISN Global. Bangladesh is seeing their election. The voting today in what many are calling the most consequential election in the country. It has been continuing. After a youth-led revolution which toppled the government, over 120 million voters are now deciding what comes next for the country. And to understand why this election matters, far beyond our South Asia, we need to go back to 2024. What we know was a Gen Z uprising and a mass student-led protest that forced the removal of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who held power for over 15 consecutive years. Her party, the Awami League, which was subsequently barred from the contesting in this election, an interim government which was led by Nobel Prize laureate Muhammad Yunus, they were asked to stabilize the country and oversee the transition to democratic elections. So 12th February 2026 is the day Bangladesh are holding their 13th national parliamentary election, where over 2,000 candidates are competing for 300 seats in the Jatiya Sangsad, their parliament. A party or coalition needs 151 seats to form the government. Now, this is not just an election. We can say that it is a referendum on whether a revolution can produce a stable democracy or not. Now, no clear winner predicted yet, or a coalition politics could reshape Bangladesh. This is very important to know. Bangladesh Nationalist Party, which is led by Tariq Rahman, he is considered the frontrunner. The party has campaigned on anti-corruption reforms, economic recovery, and strengthening the rule of law. These are their motives. The other major force is the Jamaat-e-Islami, which is leading a coalition that includes several youth-led political movements that were born from the 2024 protests. Opinion polls there are heading to the election day, and they suggest that competitive races across multiple constituencies, and if no single party secures a clear majority, Bangladesh could enter a period of coalition negotiations, something that would be the first in the country's recent political history. So for now, international observers that are viewing the dynamic, and they are saying that parties are emerging from the revolution. They can translate the street level support into parliamentary power. So the polling stations in Bangladesh opened at 7:30 a.m. and they will be closed at 4:30 p.m. local time. More than 127 million citizens were registered to vote, including over 5 million first-time voters, many of whom were part of the 2024 protest movement. By mid-afternoon, voter turned out to be nearly 48%. Over 300,000 security personnel were deployed across the whole country, and they were isolated incidents covered, which included violence, and there were reports of small explosive devices and the death of one political worker. The United Nations, they had raised concerns ahead of the vote about the political intolerance and targeted disinformation campaigns, particularly those aimed at young voters that are voting for first time. International election monitoring teams are on the ground, and the credibility of this vote is being closely scrutinized worldwide. Now, what is at stake in this issue? The outcome of this election, it carries consequences well beyond Bangladesh's boundaries, and these are very important to note. Governance stability is the immediate concern because Bangladesh is South Asia's second largest economy by population, and political uncertainty here affects global supply chains, particularly in the garment industry, I would say, which supplies to worldwide brands. So economic recovery is another critical factor because Bangladesh's GDP growth has slowed significantly since the political crisis, and whichever government will take power, they will inherit serious fiscal challenges. Then there is foreign policy. Bangladesh sits at the strategic crossroads between India, China, and a broader Indo-Pacific region. They have to make the foreign policy well. The new government, they will choose the alignment, and they will be very crucial to watch by global major powers. And if no party wins coalition negotiation, they could delay the government formation and would introduce further uncertainty. Now, vote is counting underway. Provisional results are being released constituency by constituency, and this election could define Bangladesh's political direction for the next decade, I would say. Keep watching ISN Global. ISN keeps you informed.